So here's a pretty entertaining one about a guy whose absolute train wreck of an ex-girlfriend and mother of his child is now doing anything for him to help her after her current boyfriend left her high and dry after she got pregnant. Big surprise there. And this guy, nope, not a chance. And once again, proving that they always come back, and also you can set your watch to it that eventually they're going to screw up and all that. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting to do anything for my ex's unborn kid? And a shout out to Ben for sending this story. It says here, I'm 24 years old and I have a son who's 5 years old with my ex Haley, a 24-year-old female. We broke up 3 years ago and we share custody of our son. Our relationship was bad before we broke up. I could never do anything right. Well, that's kind of a common situation. Now listen to this, just how miserable this gal was, proving how he could never do anything right. He says, Haley wanted to stay at home with our son, so I worked extra hard to provide for us, and then she accused me of trying to keep her at home all the time by staying at work so late. She wanted to stay at home, so he's trying to make that possible. If I took our son for the day, she'd accuse me of trying to come between them. But then if I spent time with him on and off throughout the day, she'd accuse me of not being involved enough. So no matter what, he's the bad guy. She didn't like my cooking, but complained when I didn't make more food. She also got pissy when I'd make a packed lunch for her and when I made one just for me. She'd get pissy with me if I didn't want her to go out with her friends if I had to work in the morning. She told me a single parent would deal with work and getting up with the kid so I could. But if she wanted to go somewhere in the morning, I better make sure I was there and waking up. Yeah, she sounds real great. Now, the question is that you're all thinking, why in God's green earth did he stay with her this long? Well, obviously because of the kid. But eventually, enough's enough. She's an absolute mess. There's no making her happy. I think she's got borderline, you-know-what disorder. Borderline bitch disorder. It didn't matter that I was working crazy long hours, so she didn't have to work. She told me to be a real man. This guy's working his tail off, doing whatever he has to do to take care of them, and he's supposed to be, in her eyes, a real man? How about this? You be a real woman. You be a real mother, a real girlfriend, a real partner. Nope. It's always the guy's fault. We're not done yet. She also hated that I wouldn't spend time with her family, but she always made shit up to them, so they hated me. Like I could be feeding our son or playing with him, and I was such an a-hole for taking the baby from his mom, according to the family. Or because I was playing with our son. I was a lazy bum who never worked and wanted their poor daughter and sister to work. He's working all the time. He's working overtime so she doesn't have to work and all that. I mean, you think that during the dating process, before he had a kid with her, he could see how much of an a-hole she was, how mental she was, how her family were a-holes? Who knows? I broke up with her because it wasn't healthy and only getting worse. You think? Her family told me they were glad, so she was finally done with a piece of shit like me, and she could do so much better. How? How is a gal who behaves like this could do better? Well, we're getting to the good part. Well, a few months ago, after we broke up, she started dating this other guy. Well, she's young and she's thin enough, she can get another guy. Then she wanted me out of our son's life, and she tried to file for sole custody, saying I didn't deserve to be a dad, and I wasn't a good one. This guy sounds like a great dad. Her family all said that I had poor character and would not be a good influence on my son. Oh, like she's a good influence? Or probably the round and round of different guys that comes through the house with her are good father figures? Well, the judge told them she should have chosen a different father then, and our son had the right to a relationship with me. 50-50 was maintained. Holy crap, an actual judge with a fucking brain. If he totally had a brain, the kid would go with this guy. But the point is, a lot of judges would listen to this crap, especially from her family, and be like, oh, no, and take the kid from him. It's bad enough that this, in my opinion, this one was this awful to the guy, but the fact that she's trying to take the kid away from him, oh no mercy. Well, my ex has had her boyfriend threaten me twice, and I reported him to the cops both times, which got him a strong warning the second time since I recorded him at my door. Well, they broke up 7 months ago because my ex is pregnant and he doesn't want a kid. What happened to, her saying this guy wasn't a real man, stuff like that, but she's with a guy that's going to dump her when she gets pregnant? Nope, not my problem. Too bad, honey. Well, for the past month, she's been asking me to take her son on as my own. Hang on. We broke up because I couldn't do anything right. You tried to get the judge to take the kid away from me. Your family's lying about me, all these things. And now you want me to come back and help raise this other kid even though I'm so awful? No, it's because you're desperate. That's why. Nope. It says here, she sent me scanned photos. She sent me a photo of her son and a big brother to be shirt. She sent baby photos of her son saying her son could be a mini version of him and how he deserves a dad like our son has. This chick is freaking mental. She told me it would be cruel to have one with a dad and the other rejected by his. Not my problem, asshole. We would still be together, a family, if you weren't a freaking psycho. End of story. This is your fault. You chose to be with that guy. You got pregnant. You, blah, blah, blah. You go track him down to get some child support and all that. Don't knock on my door. It's not my problem. Or I have a better idea. Okay, you can worry about that kid, and I'll take our son. Full time. Blah, 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 especially when there's a baby being rejected. I told her I wasn't going to raise her son and tie myself to her anymore. I told her she needs to find someone who'll be good with both boys and focus on that, or just be a good mom and trust her son will be fine without a dad. Well, we know darn well sons, by and large, aren't always going to do well if they don't have a male figure in their life, the right male figure. Well, her family tried to convince me, but whenever I see them, they try this, and I ignore them and walk on without acknowledging them. The change since I was the worst influence ever when it was our son is startling. The other night, my ex called me at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I freaked out thinking something was wrong with our son. No, she's just doing that. But instead, she was crying and worrying about her son and saying he needs me. I made it clear I'm not doing anything for her second child, and she's on her own with him. I told her he will never be my son and my family, and she needs to let it go. Well, obviously her perception of this guy is that he endured her shit for so long that eventually he'll cave. That's what she thinks, obviously. And she's also mental. Ever since that call, her texts are angry instead of pleading, and we're back to being where we were the worst. Am I the a-hole for my stance? No, dude. Not at all. The only thing I can say you're the a-hole for is asking if you're the a-hole here. Not at all, my man. And also, you were with her too long. And you got involved with her, had a kid with her. At least you have your son who you love with her. That's the only positive thing out of this whole experience, if that's your kid. But no, this kid is not your problem, and you're not the a-hole. She made her bed, she can lie in it. And believe me, I'm sure she's lied in many a bed with many a Chad and Tyrone's. The crazy thing is you were great to her. Did everything you could to make it easy. If she didn't screw it up and she wasn't a freaking mental case and evil, then you'd be a family. It wouldn't be a problem. But no, this is her problem. End of freaking story. Do not let her guilt trip you or her freaking family, anything like that. But I'd be playing the long game here. I would see, as long as it doesn't seem like your son's in harm's way, let her keep screwing things up, and maybe down the road when the time is right, see if you can get full custody. You never know. Now, I'm going to also read here some more comments he had. He was responding to a lot of people, and I figure you guys want to know about the situation and where his mind is in this whole thing. But anyhow, guys, there you go. They always come back, and a guy can always have the last laugh, but he's always going to be on edge because she has his son half the time, and he's going to be dealing with her one form or another for a very long time. Now, here are a few comments he said along the way. He says, I'm saving all her messages and documenting them with my lawyer so we can try to make a case for something to change. Not sure if full custody is going to be an option because the courts do everything they can to try and keep both parents 50-50. But maybe a judge will agree that's better for our son. Who knows anymore? I just want the best for my son. Well, listen to your lawyer as long as the lawyer has a fucking brain. And yeah, keep gathering the evidence. Wait for the perfect time to strike. Because it might be that she just is so overwhelmed they can't take care of both the kids. Golden opportunity to get full custody of the son. You never know. That judge seemed to have a fucking brain. Another one, he says, I never regretted my son. He's the best part of my life, and even though my relationship with his mom is the worst part, I wouldn't give him up or change anything for him. I changed the way things are for him, though, because he deserves so much better than all this. You're darn right he does, but Dad here's doing what he can. Another one, he says, it's usually better to get enough documented evidence that it would be in my son's best interest first. Doing this too early could make the judge think that I'm just trying to come between my son and his mom. There's also the fact that I can't afford to try over and over again, so I need to do it when the chance is greater that I'll get somewhere, otherwise my son suffers more. Right. Pick your time. Pick the right moment. The last one, he says here, I'm not trying to hurt her by saying no. I'm trying to protect myself and my son. Taking her son on is mine, splits what resources I have for my son, and he get less. It would make me resentful of the fact I'm raising a kid who isn't mine when I'm not even with their mother. Dude, you don't have to justify to this audience and a lot of the guys on Reddit. It's not your fucking problem. But I'd be very careful with any money he uses that she doesn't try to, like you say he gave his son toys. And then she freaking sells the toys so she can get money for the other kid. Or takes the toys and gives them to the other kid. You gotta be careful there. He also says it would be open to me more contact with my ex. Because I'm taking on her child. As is I'm a young single dad. That is also really hard. And she has done everything to try and F with my life and my relationship with my son. I would do anything for this freaking evil witch. Right now my priority is us and our relationship. Not hurting my ex to get back at her and not her youngest. I don't like that you believe that's all this is about. Because there are more ways I could try doing if I wanted to. But that's never what I was doing or thinking. See, this guy's being calm and realizing I'm not going to focus on revenge on her because ultimately it's going to hurt my kid. And he loves his kid too much to make the situation worse. But if anybody deserves a little revenge, certainly his. But simply just living his life and all that, she's screwing her life up on her own, and he's getting revenge watching that happen. The only thing is, sadly, his kid's caught up in the middle, so hopefully in time, there's enough turmoil, he might get the judge to see in his favor and get more time with the kid, or you never know, full time. Things can happen. So anyhow, guys, they always come back.